Hello everyone, it's Simon here with a review of Emma Lost in Memories. Emma Lost in Memories is a 2D hardcore platform game that's available for PC, Android and iOS. It's the PC version you see on your screen, and the developer was very kind enough to send me a copy for review because I was very interested in the game itself. Now, the reason why I'm interested with this is because it was a hardcore platformer and I was thinking, ooh, Super Meat Boy. It also reminded me of Braid as well, and that's around the core mechanic. That is, Emma is losing her memories. And the way how that translates into a gameplay mechanic is that every time she touches a platform or a wall, that wall or platform then starts to fade away. And essentially what it does is it raises the level before your very eyes. It's a really cool mechanic. It's so simple and you kind of go, but what it does is it means that you have to traverse every level with perfect precision for you to in order basically continue going on. There's 140 levels in all and each one is a single screen long. There are a couple of interlude sections between each area that you go to, which are like multiple screens, but they normally are kind of introducing a bit of story because you're chasing around an owl that kind of represents, in my mind at least, your thoughts and feelings and memories as you go. Now, Emma, for the vast majority of the game, will be jumping and double jumping and wall jumping for you to try and traverse yourself around so that you can hit the right platforms and walls before they disappear and then get to the exit. You'll also have the ability to climb up a wall and you'll also have the ability to slide under things. Initially that will be for spikes, but later on, where worlds get more and more fragmented, it might be that you need to slide off one platform so that your head doesn't hit a platform on the way down and therefore like push you in the other direction or start something else to erase that you then need to use later on in the level. And this is why not only does Super Meat Boy, the indie platformer that all indie platformers try to recreate when they're hardcore, it doesn't just remind me of that, but it reminds me of Braid. Is with Braid almost where you had that reverse mechanic and you had to think about things in reverse sometimes. With here, you almost have to try and reverse engineer sometimes how you get round the levels. And what's really good with Emma is that everything's paused before you kind of press the button for her to start running, because once she starts running, she doesn't stop. So you have to get everything right at in one go. Otherwise, you will fall off and die. Or she will fall on some spikes, or she'll just run off the edge of the screen and you'll be like, ah! Frustration in this game is huge. However, the frustration is not always down to really clever level design. I have two massive problems with this game in terms of its controls. The first one is that there is a slight bit of lag when you press jump. And that is really frustrating for a game that requires massive precision for you to be able to sort it out. After a while, your brain starts to get used to that though, and you can pick it up once you've done a few run-throughs of a level, and then you're like, okay, now I kind of know where I need to press. The other option for me is just as, if not more, unforgivable, and this is around the crawl mechanic. When you hit a wall, you have to hit the wall, then press up to climb up. Otherwise, she just slides down the wall. Now, the problem with this is that quite often you're having to traverse with things in a really tight space and a really tight time scale. And I can't help it. But when I jump and I know I'm going to hit a wall and crawl up, if I press up before she's settled on the wall, she just slides down it. So you can be pressing up, and this is really awkward when you're doing wall jump to wall jump to wall jump. You've got a wall jump, hit the wall up. Wall jump, hit the wall up. Wall jump, hit the wall up. All the while, the things are disappearing in front of you. And quite the amount of times that I'm already pressing up because I've already pressed up on the previous wall and I know I'm climbing up, but the game doesn't register the up unless you're on the wall and stuck on it and then press up. So frustrating. So many deaths. And I was literally... It's not very often that I get shouty at a TV screen, but I got very shouty and I had to go and leave the game and come back to it. And then I was like, right, I understand it now. Because I was thinking, oh, maybe she can't climb the walls. Because the amount of times she was just sliding off, I was just like, for goodness sake. I can't get my brain out of this pattern, and I feel like it's really unfair on the game to need you to be able to do that when you've already told her she's climbing up before she hits the wall, and up is not used for anything else in the game. So I know that it's like been a minute rant on me just banging on about like quality of life, but when you're a hardcore platformer, you need those quality of life things, because essentially, particularly when you're wall jumping in complex levels, you'll hit something, climb up, and then you're already like about to fall off, so then you're going to have to jump again, and quite often she'll just kind of like her head will hit the wall and not the rest of the body, so then it doesn't connect, and then she just slides off and you're like, ah, and it feels like the game's fault rather than yours. I know when I need to get good at a game, this feels really unfair, and I hope it's patched in the future, because essentially it's stopped my enjoyment of Emma completely because of how reliant it is on this mechanic from the mountain ranges onwards. I haven't got massively far in the game. I doubt I will ever see the end of it if the control scheme stays like this. And it's a real shame, because actually there's some really cool, there's some really good level design in here and some really tricky stuff to navigate. I think people that love their hardcore platformers will lap this up, but will be equally frustrated alongside me. And whilst I appreciate that some games, like, the frustration is part of the fun, this felt like the frustration was because of poor game design rather than actually me being crap. So I hope that that was informative and helpful. Outside of that, the audio is quite monotonous and poor as well, but I do like the graphical design. I like the game mechanic itself. There is real good potential here for an absolutely great cracking game. It just needs some patches and some tweaks, and I hope that was an informative, it's almost like a plea, I think, back to the developer of please implement this and tighten up some of the lag. And you've got an absolute corker on your hands. So maybe this will be a game that I'll come back to at a later time, but at the moment, for its launch edition, this is a tentative, and I think you'll kind of know by the end of this the amount of fail that I've probably put into this video, whether or not this is for you. So cheers for watching. Any comments or questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you on it. In the meantime, happy gaming. Bye bye.
This channel is just one of my many projects that cover games, music and film. If you enjoy any of these and would consider supporting me to develop further in the future, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/Satorimon. Thank you for your time and for watching the video.